order the September 18th, 2025 Traffic Safety Bikeways Pedestrian Committee meeting. First actual thing is the approval of the minute. No? What? We were just talking about the mic and I forgot to put mine on. Anyway, so the first actual order of business is approval of the minutes from 2025, August. Do we have a motion? Or?
I move that the minutes of August 2025 of the Traffic Safety Bikeways Pedestrian Committee be approved as written.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I've got one slight modification I'd like to suggest, which is on the bottom of the first page. It currently states to reduce the speed at Chemawa and Dearborn near Verda. I think the comment was to reduce the speed on Verda between Chemawa and Dearborn.
Oh, that's different.
Flipping it, yeah.
I accept the correction.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, at Verda, near Chemawa and Dearborn. Okay, since it's a friendly amendment, we don't have to vote on that, right?
Yeah, and I accepted it.
Yeah, okay. All right, so all in favor of the minutes as amended, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? All right, it passes. Next thing on the list is the appearance of interested citizens. That is, well, before I do that, I would like to introduce our new youth liaison. If you could just introduce your name and a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Laszlo Montoya, and I'm a sophomore at McNary right now, and I'm happy to be here. So thank you guys. Thank the committee for letting me be a youth liaison here, and I don't really know what else to say, but thank you.
Yeah. Go Celts.
What was your reason for wanting to serve on this particular committee?
The reason for me wanting to join this committee was because I just saw a lot of things that I could like try and help my community in. I was like, oh yeah, traffic seems pretty cool, and I was like, all right, let me help that. Around there.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, maybe because you're a sophomore now, we'll get a few years out of you. Well, welcome aboard. Yeah. All right, so now the appearance of interested citizens. That's a time for citizens and anybody actually to come and talk to the committee about a topic that is not on the list. So I will start with Tammy Saldivar.
Don't touch the button. Okay. There's rules everywhere. Hi, Tammy Saldivar Kaiser. It's actually on the list, I realize. Can we bring it up? It's the Kaiser Street Painting Program.
Okay. Should we just talk about it now?
Either way, she's already here, that way she wouldn't need to wait. You can just move things up, on the agenda.
We'll do that way you don't have to.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so I have been paying attention and watching the discussions from this committee because I still enjoy it tremendously. The street painting program has come up a couple times, I noticed, but I wanted to kind of, what am I looking for here? The program was designed not as a street or a traffic calming measure. So I'm asking that we stop promoting it as such. And the fact that it's on today's agenda, I'm curious to know what the discussion was going to be. Because it was designed as just street art. We all know it calms traffic likely, but that's not what it's for. And it's not even in the toolbox from the NTMP because of that reason. So when you want to prioritize and aggregate the list of locations, can we talk about what that means? And what involvement this committee has?
Well, so I know we've talking about two different things about street painting. There was the painting you were talking about, and then there's the painting of the green.
They're both on here.
Yeah, so the one that I think when it comes to street painting as art, I know we're not calling it a street calming action, but I think it could be an activity that has, what's the word? I don't want to, synergistic sounds too egg-headed, but it basically ties in well with maybe something else, like we've talked about in front of McNary. And that has the benefit of being a thing that kind of highlights McNary High School, while at the same time, we've been doing, or trying to do some projects that do actually have street calming effects. So having some type of additive benefit. So, Hirsch?
I just wanted to ask Tammy, I understand what you're saying, and are you all kind of saying that if we keep it on our agenda, it might deflect it happening because we, especially as a neighborhood association, really want it to happen?
I'm more concerned with the outward appearance that it is being accepted in the city as a street calming measure because it's part of the traffic safety discussions. So I mean, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but just please make it clear outward message being that it is not a traffic calming device and it's not for that. It's not cheap either, so it's not like it's something that anyone can just go out and try to do. And there's a whole process to get approvals through Public Works for not only the location of approval, plus that goes through the Arts Commission.
Are they not the ones taking the point?
They are.
So we don't have to take,
No, it was designed, similar to how other cities do it and with working through the city folks to know what's the right course to go, that, the Arts Commission is gonna own it. And, so anybody who wants to propose doing so would go to them for the approval of the art and the artist waiver, and then just work with Public Works for approval on the location for safety purposes of the application of it.
Right.
And making sure it's not close to something else, such as a stop bar that may create a confusing area, make it unsafe. So I just wanted to talk about that here a minute. I noticed it's not on the website just yet, Dawn, so I'm hoping next month when I come to Arts Commission, we can dial that in so that we can start promoting it a little. And Northwest.
Yeah, let me check with legal because I think I needed to hold off until it was included in the master plan. But I'll double check.
Okay.
If I can, I'll do it right away.
Oh, no, that's fine,
Yeah.
whatever the circumstances were. I looked forward today in hopes of sharing that, but I noticed it wasn't there yet. So.
So has the Arts Commission come up with any options or opportunities to paint yet? Or is it still just kind of have other people come to you with ideas?
Anybody who wants to put art on the pavement goes to the Arts Commission with their idea.
Okay.
And then they have to fund it themselves and so on. The Arts Commission's role is to approve the art and include it in their master plan and the whole whatever documentation they keep track of to promote the art around the city. And so they will manage all of that. And like I said, the Public Works Department has agreed to help with traffic control and the safety aspect of the application.
So I don't know, this is probably more of a question for Mike, but I just wanted to ask, is it possible, or maybe even Councilor Starr, is it possible to, next time not the next time, but if there's a time where we're doing some street project, that would be a good location for some street art project as well. Is that something that the city could or would integrate into that project?
I don't see them initiating anything. It's up to one of us in the community to come forth with a.
But I'm saying, can the city integrate it as a project?
they would propose the art.
So what I'm saying is the city does street projects all the time, right? And so let's just, because I said McNary, I'll just throw out McNary. Say they were doing something there and they decide, okay, we're going to do all this stuff here. We've talked about street art. We will include that as part of the overall project.
And have a contractor place it when they do the.
Well, whomever, they'd have to hire someone to do it, I'm sure.
That's not my call to make, but I don't see
Right,
the city
and so I'm
funding
thinking-
something like that.
Chair de Blasi, so it goes way back talking about this project. I think now 3.5 years almost getting it to this point. And I think the intent behind, when you look at this street painting or the art, the intent behind it was to have the community do the actual painting. So not necessarily building it into a street project, so to speak, but really more as just a unification project, I think, to help build camaraderie within the neighborhoods and some of the kind of the I think, these are my words, right? Unintended consequences. It's been shown to have a positive impact on calming traffic, but that wasn't the reason for driving that project forward. So I think to answer your question, I think if this committee sees an area where they think there might be an opportunity, I think it would go forward to the committee as a suggestion in partnership with wherever the Public Arts Commission is looking at doing it, and also kind of in tandem with wherever the project location is, whether that's in the Greater Gubser or the Northwest Kaiser or Northeast Kaiser. And if I'm speaking out of turn, I think that's kind of in my head what I think would work, but it wouldn't be driven out of this committee.
Okay,
Is that, if I can just finish for a second, is that answer kind of what you were looking for?
Well, so I'm not necessarily saying that we're driving it as the committee idea. It's more of like the city's doing a project. Can we, and there's a place that would be a good place for art, for a beautification project. Could we layer it on top of that street project? Especially because if there's new pavement going on, that's the cleanest it's going to be.
I don't know that we can make that commitment and Mr. Griffin, please chime in. I don't know that we can make that commitment because just like the one over in Gubser where they had the unintended, they got down there and they found that the gravel was bad and right, so it just kind of was delay after delay. I think understanding the timing of those projects, that it's not always going to be as clean as knowing in a neighborhood, if you we'll just use Brooks and Alder, for example, right? There's not a project going on, so you can come in a morning and get that one done, right? You're not waiting on the construction, but I would defer to Mr. Griffin on how to build that in. I don't know if that's something it's like opening a can of worms, I think.
And I agree with what you say, but yearly I bring a list of streets that we're resurfacing and we take that list, get it out to those that want to apply for this through the Arts Commission. That gets approved and then that gets on the list to be taken care of shortly after that street's paved or however that process works out would be the way to go about it. But to fit it in with what, is part of the project, I wouldn't think so, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. David?
yeah, Tammy, I don't see this group as initiating a big improvement, but improvement projects normally. We usually are responding to the community. And so if the community says we have a problem, and we gave them a list of 30 different things they could do, and one of them was street art, and they decided to do it, they would go to you. So it turns out basically we're just adding some motivation maybe to some, or giving somebody an idea. We're not using it, but we're not doing it to begin with. The community is asking for something to be done at, say, an intersection or somewhere, a straight stretch. Does it really make any difference whether I was at a neighborhood association and suggested it, or somebody who's not on this board suggests it as a way of calming things down? Because first one is that, yeah, people have recommended street art as a traffic calming activity or thing you could do. So people know that. And then, other than beautifying the street, it could be it would make more sense to be also traffic calming as opposed to the dead end cul-de-sac. But that's the Arts Commission's choice decision, not ours.
Correct. No.
So what the worst that would happen, we'd say, have you considered street art at that location? That's their decision then to go that route, and it still goes back to the art association, not us. So does it really make a difference?
Go with she.
Councilor Starr?
Ms. Saldivar, I heard you mention that it was on the agenda today. Were you looking at item 6C? So I think one thing that we can do on our end as a team, when we're doing the agenda, is we can clarify street art versus the green, because I think item 6C is referring to the project of the green paint that we've been working on, which is different from the street art.
I'm really glad to hear that.
And so I think just kind of a note for us when we already know what's been discussed at the committee, so in our heads, we already know what that agenda item meant. But I think for us, it's a learning moment when we're looking at the agenda, to remember to differentiate between our green paint conversations and then the street art painting. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Because I know the name of the program that we built was street
Yes.
painting. And so I
Yeah.
saw, I was coming in anyway because I watched the videos and I've seen it come up a couple times.
It has, yes.
But when I saw it there, I just said, let's bring it up. So I appreciate that.
Hurst, did you still want to?
Yeah, I'm just going to put my 2 cents in. Yes, there are studies that show it's a calming device, but if we shouldn't be saying it from a risk management standpoint, from the city standpoint, is we're not saying it's going to do that, and by continually saying that, we create a risk liability issue. So it's art, it's community development. I know a gentleman that did it over in West Salem with his community, and Robert Garcia said people were out there, we met people, we talked to people, we had cookies. It was a great event, and everybody's proud of it. So as our counselor mentioned, it's a community development, neighborhood development, and one street that I would love to have it on is Newburgh. So I got my 2 cents out.
So if I could make a suggestion, maybe tweak the name that we have on C to, I'm open to suggestions.
Is that just the,
That's
so that's
just,
just bike painting?
that's just the
Bike
the
lanes?
bike lane painting.
Yeah, so how about
So-
bike lane painting?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for hearing me.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, next on, we have the Night of the Tammies, we have Tammy Kunz. If you'd like to stay longer, we can wait. Okay, so we'll just, yeah. Okay, all right, so we'll move on to Number 4, the pilot pedestrian flag program. Any, about the survey, any more responses?
It looks like it's still 4 responses, so we haven't had any more recent ones come in.
Okay. How about any replacement needs? Have there been?
So this month I replaced 3 flags.
Okay.
I do have, like, just food for thought. At some point, the fields won't be used as much, which the flags help with traffic. So when the fields aren't being used, there's not gonna be a lot of cars going by. So I don't know if we want the flags to stay there through the time of year when they're not using the fields as much. I assume that's gonna be late November through February, but I haven't actually looked for any data on that. So if anybody has feedback on that part, that'd be great.
Hirsch?
Since this is an experiment, I would suggest that we just run it through so we actually know that from November to December, we don't need to do that down there because we don't really know. I keep hearing that those are, all season fields and
Yeah,
They-
that's true.
Yeah, they are all
just
seasons.
just a thought.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Can I say something really quick or ask a
please.
question about the flags? Is one of the locations at the bus stop on Shoreline and Dearborn? Okay, I just saw,
Where?
I just saw some flags that were at the bus stop, but kids had them in their hand. I don't know if those were the 3 that you were missing or what, but,
Oh,
Yeah, there's no flags there.
okay, because I did saw, I was driving from school to home and noticed that there were some flags in kids' hands and they threw them down to the ground before they got on the bus, so.
Interesting.
Maybe I should go look at
Yeah.
Shoreline and Dearborn, see if there's some flags laying there. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to the project spreadsheet review. Let me get there here on our page here. So, so we'll start with the Lock Haven and River Road green paint for bike crossings. Now, we know that the budget committee did not approve it this year, but I did have that list that, I hope, and this, remember, is an exhaustive list that I threw everything up on the wall, and I'm open to deletes or additions.
Did we skip this?
Well, that's,
That's right.
well, so how do we want to do that? Because it's on the list, but it's also a separate thing.
However you'd like.
I think we should just, since it's on the list, we'll just stick with it as it is on the list and just work our way through.
Okay.
In which case, can we just delete? We're 4C or 6C from the thing? From the,
I'll just note on the minutes that it was talked about under the active project list.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
That solves Tammy's problem from the get-go. We should have said that in the first place, huh? Okay, so, did, anyone go through the list, to see what they thought of them? Again, I included boxes because I thought sometimes if you're doing, in some locations, you're doing the green paint, then there's an opportunity for the green box. But, again,
So I appreciate all the effort that went into creating this, but I also think that, I guess where I'm coming from is I'd like to see us focusing on where we think the biggest impact that we need to make in the city in the coming year or something. And ideally, that would be something that would be a priority from the community and the committee and Public Works. And so that we don't get to a thing where we're going up to a budget committee kind of after all the budget is there and trying to say, hey, we should be doing this project. And I have a bit of a trouble here just because in looking at all possibilities, to me, if painting is, there are two places which I've heard concerns about intersections and cyclists and things. One is westbound on Lock Haven at McLeod. The construction of that intersection is, if you look at other westbound intersections coming up to that, both coming into Kaiser Station and then also into the empty lot that's not developed. In both cases, there's a turn lane and a clear striping of the bike lane with separations and a little bit of room for cars and cyclists to interchange. At McLeod, where you're going to have a lot more activity than into the empty lot, there's none of that. It's just a quick right-hand turn followed by a 2 lanes going into one, and is a bit dangerous for cyclists who are continuing on Lock Haven. The other place that I've heard of a concern from a different cyclist was turning left off of Lock Haven, heading east onto Trail. So if a cyclist is wanting to turn left onto Trail, it can be dicey, and I don't know. In both cases, actually, I don't know what the right solution is. Obviously, at McLeod, ideally, you would have a construction project that creates a lane change like you have east of there, but that's expensive and not likely to happen. So I don't know what kinds of paint, whether it is broken white lines continuing across the intersection, if it's some green paint some way in there. Again, I'm totally open to what the right thing is. In the same way as I have absolutely no idea how you'd create safe left-turning things off of Lock Haven going onto Trail, heading for people who want to do that. Outside of places which, and other people may have other places too that I just live in that area, so I'm aware of those too. But to me, there are other things that may be a higher priority than some of the green paint projects. And an example for me is I think there really needs to be a safe pedestrian crossing at Lock Haven and Verda.
I agree.
Lock Haven and Verda, there's bus stops on both sides. There's no safe pedestrian crossings along Lock Haven from River until 14th. Very long stretch and totally unreasonable to ask pedestrians to try and seek one of those lighted intersections. So anyway, to me, in terms of an improvement for Kaiser that deals with pedestrian and bike safety, I think it's a much more important and prudent investment to be trying to put resources towards a safe pedestrian crossing there at Verda and Lock Haven than some other things. So I would like us to personally try to focus where we think the biggest bang for the buck and the attention should be in terms of improving the safety.
Well, I think you're looking at it as an either or, and the way I'm looking at this is, one, we have the places we've asked for and we'll ask for again. Those were what we determined to be the priorities and most likely places to get funding. But I feel like this is one of those project lists that you create. It's Kaiser's honeydew list for green paint. We have our list. We can prioritize the list. I didn't prioritize it. I just went from point A to point B, looking at streets. And, it's one of those things that we get, you know, we do the ones we wanted to do, get those checked off. Maybe, a year or two later, we do, like you're saying, the Verta crossing. And then a year or two later, we look at this list, it's like, okay, this is still a problem, let's do this one. Brenda?
Well, so I see this as the green paint list, and then we have our priorities, and then, we take maybe the top two each year to budget, but I think that we should have another list that's pedestrian crosswalk that we do the same thing with. So I think your idea of doesn't negate this, but should be added to it. So it would be nice to have a similar priority list for where we need to have some painted crosswalks.
Mm-hmm. Hirsch?
Our focus has been on Lock Haven at River Road and River Road at Chamawa on the west side for painting. And I think we should stay there, but David has a wonderful idea about the crossing there because of the schools. My point on Lock Haven crossing River Road and having green paint also applies to his idea because of the increase in apartments that will be there and the people going to 2 different schools, walking, really 3 different schools, all within just blocks, Kaiser Elementary, McNary, and Whitaker. And kids are coming down, and we had this study for Lock Haven, and it's not exactly where I wanted the lights, but we got those in, and Kaiser Elementary and McNary is saying thank you for those. So I like it. I like it. If it means giving up paint for a year, I would go for the pedestrian because it does hit more kids, because more kids walk than ride. But the same need is because of the increase in traffic, walking, biking for all the schools, the green paint and the crosswalk, in my mind, are justified. Whether we can budget it, that's another story.
Yeah, so I think, again, it's, like Brenda said, we have this list and we have the other list, and we just
But
decide what is the most priority.
Yeah, I would kind of cut half these off and just have our top ones, especially since we didn't get the budget. It's not that you didn't do good work, but a lot of these are never going to happen. Never going to happen.
Well, there's a couple of other things I like to, I live out on Wheatland Road, so that mess at Manzanita, Wheatland Road, River Road, McNary Golf Course, which is a nightmare, it keeps coming up in long-range planning that's going to disappear. Now, I don't know how I've heard traffic circles, getting rid of Wheatland Road, so the intersection's over at Manzanita, or getting rid of one or the other, so there's just one intersection there. I don't know if I want to get involved in trying to do any painting there when somebody's going to tear it up in 3 years. I mean, you finally get this, it's long range, otherwise we expect this, whatever we do, to go just continue for years. It's like the crosswalk, we don't expect it to last 1 year and then get erased if paint runs out. So, I would say just until Mike and until the city council and the long-range planners decide what they're gonna do with that. And every time I talk or listen to them at meetings, it sounds like in the back of their mind somewhere, they got an idea, they're just not ready to publish it yet. So I wouldn't want to do anything up there, even though that's my biggest headache. That's one. And the other, I still think, Chamawa, green paint at Chamawa is going to be super expensive because you're going to have to hire engineers. They're going to have to deal with the fact that the roads aren't don't come in correctly.
You know, I'm only suggesting on the west side, not
Yeah.
on the east side.
Well, granted, but they still are gonna, do something. It needs it on the east side too. There's a lot of people come from the library and the courthouse, crossing from,
There.
east to west.
The city would have to buy right away.
I know, I'm just saying that's also a very, very expensive one.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we take that into account, the big expenses, and that, Chemawa was just really expensive. Wheatland in that area is too iffy, we don't really know what's gonna happen there, what the, planners are gonna plan. So I wouldn't waste a whole lot of time on it.
The Wheatland plan has been developed. It's on the website. And,
Traffic circle?
well, there's all sorts of suggestions
okay.
in the plan. We're in the money development phase, which takes some time. And so, but the bottom line, Wheatland will be improved for cycling, walking, and traffic.
Wheatland.
Okay.
Wheatland,
Yeah, well,
all the way down to where it connects.
So,
with
And the
River.
city limits to River Road.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
so did anyone prioritize?
Yes,
Did you write it on the list?
you mean on ink or on
In,
pencil?
in ink, for the next time, you've all got the list now, write your top 5 or 3, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then we'll have a list and and then, the ones
Okay.
that
I'll do 3.
don't get any, we could kick them off. Or you could even mark off ones you're like, can't happen, or, however you want to mark that you feel like it's a DOA. But at least we have something. We need to have
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
Mike, do you want the top 3 to 5 to go to you?
Yeah, I think
Go to Don?
Don, yeah. And that way, I guess the next time, well, I don't want to give you more work, Don, but once you get it, I guess you can send them to me and I can just see the top 3 scores. And then I'll send that back to you and then you could have this out for us the next meeting. Thank you. All right, moving on.
What, before we move on,
Yes.
am I correct in assuming we are going to make a presentation of some sort to the budget committee? Do we need to, I guess we need to give it to the city manager, the mayor, who? Beforehand, I hate going to the budget committee meeting. The budget's pretty much done the time we get there to say anything. Hardly anything ever gets added or seriously discussed once the budget's been presented by the city manager. So who do we go to before then saying, hey, we looked at we have several things we're interested in being in the budget. So who do we go to? City manager, public works, our representative on the city council? Who do we go to?
So the process,
The real process.
well, as I was saying,
Okay.
the real process is you submit a budget request and it's included in the packet. If it is not in, with all due respect, Mr. Dempster, I think we have some pretty hearty discussions in our budget committee meetings, going back and forth and debating some different things. And so it's not always what's presented in the budget committee, or in the budget from the city manager is not always what the budget committee ends up approving. They make many changes throughout the process. And then even when it comes to city council, we might still make changes after that. You can send the budget request in like I recommended last time. That's the process. Mr. Griffin is our staff liaison for Public Works. But Public Works they're building their budget based on master planning for parks, might be coming in funding-wise from different sources from state and federal that might have been applied for 2 or 3 years ago. You know, when we look at the Verda project, that funding request has been in for a long time, and it's just now getting started. So that's been a years-long process. So oftentimes the budget that they're putting forward is reflective of the long-range planning and the master plans that have been adopted, and that that we review every, what is it? Parks is every, I'm looking at you, Mr. Griffin, help me out here. 10 years? It's like every 10 years, so there's a chunk of time where we review those master plans, and the last one, we can review them intermittently, but the last time we did an update on the parks, I think was in 2022 when we updated that master plan. So that's a long way of saying the budget that is brought forward is oftentimes already planned out years and years and years. So if you're looking for a request in a year, upcoming budget year, the way to do that is to submit the budget request like you did, like this committee did. They had somebody fill it out and it got submitted and then it came forward to the budget committee. Unless it's included in a master plan that's done every so many years, there's really no other way to do that. Sorry.
Well, I think Counselor Christopher said the last time, and it sounds like it's true for just about any request, you have to keep chipping away and
Yeah.
eventually it comes.
Yeah. Yep.
Whether it's city, state, or federal,
Yep.
it's chipping away. Be consistent, have good data, and, you know, like our crest, the feedback I heard was that we weren't terrible, it wasn't stupid, but there just wasn't money
Yeah.
this year.
Because it had already been all planned out.
Well, let me ask that. I mean, you might not be able to throw this number out right now, but what's on an average year, what's the discretionary spending available or money available versus like this is locked in because of salaries, et cetera?
It's pretty minimal. You know, really the only discretionary fund, I don't even like saying anything we have is discretionary, right? Because there's so many different, you know, the sewer fund is, you know, we're required to spend that money on certain items. You know, the street fund, we're required to spend it on certain items. The parks fee, certain items. And then you have the general fund, which really is police, and then the general operations of our city. And that is a minimal amount, and we have the police fee to help staff the police department. So I don't know that we have a lot of discretionary funding. It goes back to having one of the lowest property tax rates in the state. I mean, the base on that is, we literally just don't have the revenue in the general fund like many other municipalities. So, but, you know, like you said, just keep sending in that budget request and keep, you know, and every year you're going to have more and more data and more, I don't know what else to recommend. There might always be the opportunity for grants. But, you know, again, there's a priority list, right, of what we want to get funded, whether it's the Wheatland multimodal plan or the Verda project that's just now coming up. So I know that isn't the best news, but it's kind of our reality that we have to work within every year.
Yeah. David, are you satisfied with that?
No.
Probably not.
I mean,
I get it.
I've been on the budget committee two
Yeah.
different times, so I'm not naive about it. But I also know that, for example, the things we're asking for aren't multi-million-dollar projects. You could do all the, I don't know what it would cost to do all the paint at Lock Haven, but I would suspect it's well under $1 million. Or even maybe under 5,000 or 10, whatever, I'm not sure, but. So the other one we've asked for, I would suspect we ask again, is for the radar speed limit things that we move around, and we don't really need them, the police department needs them, but we need to ask for it. So those aren't that expensive. I mean, they're expensive, I don't wanna pay for it, but they're not super expensive. Yeah,
I think,
so anyway, I was saying, those are, we've done things for more money spur of the moment on the budget committee in the past, not recently maybe, but. Yeah, there's not much money there, I know, but there is money available.
well, I think the cost you were looking at for the green paint, I don't know, was that for both Lock Haven and
No,
Shimala here?
I'm just saying, I don't care what it is,
Yeah.
saying it's not that much. Putting in the paint for a crosswalk really isn't that much, as long as you don't have to repave the road first. So you can ask for that.
Yeah.
And, okay, so we need to make sure that the city manager is aware that that's a recommendation we're in the process of making. Public Works knows it through Mike, and we'll submit it again to the budget committee
Right. Yeah,
and the newspaper. So, other than that.
okay. Well, the next project is something we've already talked about. The pedestrian flag. There's nothing else you wanted to add to that? Okay. Next one is the speeding in residential areas. On the list of, or status column, we had as of July 17th, Councilor Starr shared that this was still being evaluated by staff to take back to the committee and the council. Is there any updates?
We had kind of a small, not a small update, but just a short update. Mr. Lawyer and his team is still working on it. It is, I think it's going to be a bigger conversation that will probably, in my opinion, should probably be either a work session or a joint work session, or kind of the single topic here on the meeting agenda. When we talk about cost, right? If they move forward in changing the speed limits, there's a cost to taking all those signs down, buying new ones, putting them up, and it's not just in one area, it's in all areas. And then, I think we all learned something new in that you can have, when you're coming off of a street, and Mr. Griffin, correct me if I'm not remembering this correctly from Monday, but when you're coming off of a street that has a different speed zone, that's where you want a new speed sign.
Anytime you're turning off, you need to identify what that
Right.
speed limit is when you're changing speed limits. So if
Right.
you're going 25 down McLeod and you turn down any side street off McLeod, every side street's gonna need identified 20 miles an hour.
Right. So when we talk about the cost, that's a significant cost of replacing, not just where the speed zone was. So, I mean, it's just a much bigger project than just, whoop, we decide we want a different speed limit in the residential zones. Like it would be a very long, very expensive project. Not saying that we've already made a decision, but that was kind of the short explanation that Mr. Lawyer updated us on, but they're still working on it.
A couple of questions, and you might have said this already and I've forgotten, but, so you've got the sign when you first turn off onto that new street with the new speed on that street is there a distance between that and the next sign, or does it matter? Sight distance, if it's a curved street, you've got to have one closer, but if it's a straight line, then,
No, just right when you turn off, just identifying the best spot, closest spot, you know, not like right at the corner, but you know, down,
Right,
but
but
no,
I'm
there's.
thinking, like, if you had a 1,000-foot long street, just throwing that one out, would you have to put another one in there?
No.
No?
Once you enter in and you know it's 2020, if it's
Whatever,
changed.
Yeah, okay.
Which is gonna be hard.
Yep.
Then, yeah, you're notified and that's all you need.
Okay. David?
My memory from our last meeting, Mike, was that you were tasked with looking at this.
Correct.
Maybe we could hear what the status is from you.
Still working on it and seeing what the man hours are to accomplish something like that, what that's going to take away from other priorities, faded street signs, stop signs. We have a whole sign log that we go around and we change out old signs into current standards, make them visible. I mean, there's a lot. So when Councilor Shaney talks about it, there's a lot to that instead of just, you know, putting a sign up. It's going to be a lot more signs than we have right now, because right now, just when you enter a neighborhood, you just need to identify it's 25. And once you're in there, you can go down any street and basic rules 25, and that's common knowledge to, you know, anybody that's gotten their driver's license. So we're looking at all of that, and then we need to put something together to then have Bill present it to council and go from there. So
Thank you.
So right now I have one street guy, and he's my one street maintenance guy, and he's tasked to do sign work around town. Whether there's an accident, a stop sign goes down, he goes and puts that up. Faded signs, I call them complaints, but a lot of, you know, people will just call and say, hey, this sign's faded, so we'll go take a look at it and then go, you know, install a new one. Dead end signs here and there. It's just everything encompassed with that. But again, that's one person, so you take that one person away doing something else. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's just, that's what we're looking at. That's an added time.
And we also referred this to staff in the busiest time of year for getting a lot of the construction and maintenance projects done over the summer and vacations and all of that. So I know that they've been working on it.
Okay, well, I guess I like the idea of some type of work session. I think having us all just hammering it out, and I don't know if Bill would make it too.
I do know Bill wants something to go to City Council October 20th. I have that written in my notes as a reminder every Monday, just as I'm working on things. So there's a piece.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, last, I think it's the last active. Create a list of streets to ask for funding resources. Hirsch and David to work with Officer Powell and Public Works.
I haven't done that.
Me neither.
Okay. Could you just remind everybody what it is?
Reminder, so I'll call you if you remind.
Yeah, I just meant remind everyone what the task is.
Well, what might be some priority streets based on police data
And complaints.
in complaints?
Okay.
But,
Yeah. And that could result in any outcome. It's just, you know, to address a problem if there's a
Well,
problem.
to have data for streets, you know, we may say, hey, we want Manzanita based on complaints, but the data isn't there, and the data shows it's over on Alder, so.
Right.
You know, those kind of things.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's not clear cut, but I get a little concerned that most of the stuff we talk about is in North Kaiser. And I don't think it's intentional, but it turns out to be in the area that probably can afford to do it themselves the most. And the area full of people who can't afford to do it themselves, and they're not proactive, they're not gonna show up in here, not gonna show up to city council meetings, they're not gonna answer any silly questionnaire online, are kind of getting ignored. It's kind of a 60-40 thing,
Yeah.
not way over. And it's just a thought. I'm just saying, well, maybe we should pay more attention to what Alder and Brooks or some of those that are down south.
Well, think about that
I
when you're
know, I was
prioritizing.
looking at that when I was looking at all the streets. Everything was to the north end of Kaiser. And I've seen that happen since I've been here the last 20-some years. So,
Well, I will say, when I was making the list, part of it is, where are the turn lanes? Yeah, got it.
Well,
Go with it.
to defend the south and the southeast and whatever, this area has some strong neighborhood associations, while the north really doesn't, so.
other way around.
North says, up north isn't.
Oh, you mean at the end of up by Wheatland?
Yeah, there's no.
No,
No.
But down here, there's greater northeast,
right.
northwest Kaiser, southeast Kaiser, and they're been active in, southeast Kaiser
Okay,
neighborhoods.
yeah, okay.
So that's the older
Just
area.
a thought, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly, I know at one point when we had a bigger list of things, we had it, the neighborhood association, or not neighborhood association, but the neighborhood was referenced on it, so we could try and keep that in mind for projects. Okay, well, I think that was it for projects. So that would get us to, if I can find my front page. Well, again, that was another thing that's on the new and other business, but also on the active projects list. But, so the discussion of safety concerns, and that will be, where we can hear from the Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
Don, I did not see, sorry, Tammy, Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
Jack Green, Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
I didn't see the NT, neighborhood traffic management plans in the packet. Do they have that?
I put the stuff that you sent in there, but you want the neighborhood traffic management program? That, it's
You want the full
on the
document? Is that what
website.
you're saying?
Huh?
You want the full
No, I
document?
submitted neighborhood traffic management plans and it was 3 of them.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah. So that went through Public Works and they didn't pass all of the criteria, so they weren't included. And I sent you the response from Bill Lawyer on all of those, why they didn't make it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to touch on some of that anyway. I have a couple of letters that the neighborhood association put together in reference and in process. Jackie and I worked with the Kennedy Elementary crossing guards for those. I'm not going to read them because that'll take all my time. But I am going to give this to Dawn. They are signed by part of the board and a couple community members, as well as both crossing guards. So I'll make sure I give those to Dawn. But we have been working on traffic concerns since 2022, and I have your original spreadsheet. We started working on the Verta crossing and Verta and Shamawa in 2023. The first time we actually talked to you guys about it was late 2022 as we formed as a group. Traffic calming devices. What are our options? The crossing guards for Kennedy are dealing with a lot. I mean, Jackie and I sat there with them the other day and we must have had 25 cars speed by us. One of the crossing guards almost got hit trying to help 4 kids cross the road. there's gotta be something we can do, like the sign that says this is your speed. Making them aware, and I know that we don't have a lot of finances, and I actually really like the budget meetings, because I like seeing Shani do her magic. And I've learned a lot. But I think the budget meeting is where we can implement some of the signs that the neighborhood associations are looking for support, like West Kaiser. We've got neighborhood traffic management plans that'll be coming back to you for Manbrin, Dearborn, Verda, all the way to Lock Haven and River. I had 44 people at my meeting last month, and we had technical difficulties. David tried to join us. And it is insane on some of the concerns. I did send Dawn a copy of all the data, and I do see that in here. I do not see the email that I received. I think I sent it to you, Dawn. But if not, I can forward that. It includes a map for Adam and Manbrin area on where they would like to see at least a stop sign go in to help. It's on the border for Southeast and Greater Northeast, and we're kind of tag team in this one because it really matters. We have students that go to both schools. We've been working on Dearborn and Shamoa since 22 and 23. And then some of the other streets about the same. And in this list, I kind of gave you a list of public comments on people of who shared. So for February, January 2025, August of 25, which that was actually August of 24, not 25, because Angela didn't come in for that meeting. I'm just trying to figure out how we can meet the need. And I know some of it is perception, but when your crossing guards are almost getting hit by cars in Southeast, doesn't have a crossing guard for Dearborn and Alder.
Tammy, can you help me? Where are the crossing guards that, like, you talk about people almost getting hit?
I have a crossing guard on Kaiser Road, and Noreen. I have one on Dearborn and Verda, and I have another one now on May and Dixon. That one is strictly volunteer youth from the leadership program
May
at
and what
Kennedy.
street?
May and Dixon?
Yeah, okay.
So where
It's-
was it that you talked about particular problems with cars and crossing guard?
Well, both my crossing guards, the one on Dearborn and Verda almost got hit, and the one on Kaiser Road, she's an older lady, and she's almost been hit.
Several times.
Counselor Starr?
Thank you, Chair de Blasi. So, Ms. Kenz, when you say I have crossing guards,
Yeah, the other schools, but I call
They're-
it mine.
okay, so they are crossing guards that are provided by the school district?
Yep.
But I thought I heard you say you had a volunteer youth?
Yeah, Kennedy has a volunteer youth that works with their CSOC to help learn the crossing guard thing. It's part of their leadership program. So they're not out there by themselves.
Okay, but they're with a school,
They're with a school
they're with a
adult.
school
Yeah, they're with our
district provided crossing guard?
Yep. And
Okay.
our CSOC has been helping to fill in on Dearborn and Verda.
So they're really just, I want, because people might be listening and watching. I think it's really important for us to use accurate descriptors. So instead of saying my crossing guards, they're actually the
Yeah,
school
they're
district.
paid through the Salem Kaiser School
Right, so I think it's
District.
really important that we're accurate in
Differentiate.
describing who is providing those
Yeah.
crossing guards.
Salem
Okay.
Kaiser School District
Great,
provides
thank
those
you.
for sure.
Can you describe the issue a little bit at Dearborn and Verda? I mean, there are stop signs there. It's a four-way
There are
stop sign.
stop signs. They don't always stop. We've got a few, there's a couple of little sports cars that do a rolling stop, which isn't really a stop. We've got a couple of e-bikes that just blow through. One of them almost got hit by a bus yesterday, which was scary because I was actually on the bus and got to see it firsthand. And it's just becoming a huge safety problem. And I know we're not the only ones dealing with e-bike issues because I heard her share with that last month, that we're not the only ones. I'm just looking for support.
With the school district involved, if their employee near misses, et cetera, they have to provide a written safety report or an incident report. And am I correct? You're a school district, Brenda?
There is a safety protocol.
Yeah, so I would, before we start jumping, I'd like to see what the district has to say and the documentation they have of near misses and such. Because they have a certain level of responsibility for, and they have ability to get maybe some safe routes to school monies too.
I think it would be nice, I understand the school district's got many issues to deal with. But I would like to see a more active partnership between us and the school district for multiple places, not just the ones we're hearing right now. And I know we had some school district staff here a year ago or more now, and we talked with them, but I don't know if anything ever materialized from that.
I think,
looked and I didn't see anything.
I think Chief Copeland or one of his designees in a uniform went and talked to the schools because there were parking issues, right, around Brooks and Alder. So I think
Yeah,
Chief,
that's little.
I think
And
Chief
flag it.
handled that with people in uniform.
But that was different. I can't remember. What, do you remember, was it with the Safe Route to School person? Was that?
But that person is not in the school district.
Right.
Per se.
They're through the COG.
They're with the Council of Government,
Yep.
so, but their risk and safety management program within the school district manages all these near misses, incident reports, the workers' comp issues, which if a crossing guard, even a volunteer is hit, it is covered by workers' comp. So they must have some data to back up what's actually happening or not happening.
And how do we access that information?
That
As the
would be
public.
through the principal. That's the first person I would be going to.
And thanks, Chair de Blasi. I think while the Safe Routes to School is not part of the school district, I think that Beth Schmidt might have access to some data or have a connection to get that data. So I would maybe start
I'll reach out to her.
with
yeah.
Beth to see what she has available. It might not be as current as we like, just because there's, right, vetting and aggregating time that goes into it, but she might be able to get access to it.
Perfect.
I think it would be helpful if, they have a bunch of data for Kaiser schools, to have someone from the school district, risk management or somebody,
It's generally.
come talk to us and say, hey, we're seeing recurring problems here. Or, they could go directly to council and say that, but just so there's not some chasm between them where this data's not going back and forth.
Okay.
I should make one more point. The principals are the ones that have to write the incident reports. So they are the first persons to know the data on their school.
And do we know near misses are counted as an incident?
Do we
It
know
should
they're
be.
being reported?
It should be. Yeah.
Okay. Because, I think near misses should not be discounted.
Correct.
Yeah, I have a meeting with the principal next week, so.
Okay, so you can ask him
Yeah.
for that information.
All right.
Tammy, you mentioned 2 schools. Is the second school Weddle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask one more thing. So you mentioned that you'd given some other stuff to the city, but it wasn't, what
Yeah,
was
I
that?
submitted 3 neighborhood traffic management plans,
Okay,
and some of the data that is already in your packet, so it's in front of you.
Yeah.
But the neighborhood traffic management plans, I have some updating to do, and I can resubmit them before next month.
well, and, Matt's not here, but I know he was pushing for, and I agree
Yeah,
that
I
having,
utilized Matt to help, but there was one road that we weren't really sure whether it was a collector, and he was looking at that. But when I filled it out, I did leave that line blank
yeah,
because I didn't want to say it was a collector if it wasn't.
yeah. Well, I was just gonna say that I think and I said this last time, having tiered responses to issues, not,
Yeah,
White or black?
we both submitted in January of this year, and then I decided to go ahead and do it again. We were gonna do it in March, but that's too close to budget season and all of that, and we
Yeah.
just didn't get there.
okay. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you. All right, moving on. So, maybe I'm misreading these, but there's 4A, or 6A and 6D,
They're similar.
they're similar, yeah. That's what I thought, so, probably, I think, since they are active projects, we could probably just keep them as the active list now. All right, so moving on, committee member input. Start with you, Hirsch.
I'll talk about ours. I attended via team the Marion County Rural Transportation Study. It's ongoing and should be completed for the rural areas of Marion County into next year. So I'll keep the committee informed on that. The next thing is October 6th, Kaiser Fire District Open House, Safety Fair. Safety Fair, October 6th, Kaiser Fire District. We'll have a safety booth there and some helmets. And Brenda, are you gonna?
Yep.
Okay. We have 4 people to staff it and do a few helmets.
Okay. David?
Nope.
Trevor? Anything?
I just want to say that I really like the dialogue that we're having tonight, and I enjoyed the last 2 meetings that I've been at so far. My thing is, are we actually putting together a advisory plan for bringing it to city council, or are we just talking about subject matter? And I'm not really asking a question, I'm just saying, in my mind, are we doing the things that we need to do as a committee to be able to advise those topics to city council? And to that point, I need to check myself also and be able to talk to other committee members to make sure that I'm doing the same thing, being able to address those topics that are being brought to us by the community and be that advisory board for our community and be able to bring those subject matter to light and be able to bring it to the city council so that they know what we're actually being discussed at our meetings.
Yeah. I think it always helps, and I can put my hand up as not doing it, but attending your neighborhood association meetings, that's a good way to hear issues. If you have the time, when you hear issues brought up in the meetings during the day or weekend, go visit that spot and take a look at it, and that way you get a better sense of what it is that's being brought up here. You know, we are advisory as a committee, but that's a small A advisory, I'd say, not a big A advisory, in that we don't have input in specific projects. It's really just getting information from the public when they have concerns, bringing concerns we have for ourselves and offering suggestions, but we're not there. Our role has not been established to basically, you know, putting up our sleeves and hammering out a solution.
I guess just one last thing, just to thank the community for coming out each meeting and being able to bring to light what's going on out in Kaiser. And thank you guys so much for voicing for your neighborhood association and for Kaiser. Thank you.
Okay. So a couple of things. Last night I was going home around 8:40. And I wasn't able to turn on to trail from Lock Haven. And I found out today the reason was a pedestrian was in a hit and run and killed. That trail has gotten sidewalk from Harmony to now just on the west side to the south side of the new apartments. Actually, there is a gap between the new apartments and the older apartments.
What did they do there?
It was a hit and run,
Yeah.
and the pedestrian was killed.
At Trail? in
On
Lock Haven.
trail, well, not at Lock Haven.
But over on Trail,
On trail south of Harmony.
Yes.
okay.
There's no other, I mean, there's a shoulder that's 3 feet wide, maybe. It's
At
a 20,
best.
it's a 25 mile an hour speed zone, but as we've talked about many times, people will do 30, sometimes a little bit more. It's getting to that time of year where it's getting darker earlier, so people aren't as obvious. I know we can't make people put in sidewalks. It was unfortunate that we couldn't have gotten at least that gap between the new apartments and the old apartments, a sidewalk put in there. I remember talking about when they were putting in the sidewalk for the new apartments, there had been we don't have a policy, I guess, for when a walking area is occupied by construction, to have some type of protected area for the pedestrians to then occupy. So it's one of those tragedies that are a tragedy because of not having the money to spend on sidewalks or other safer walking or biking infrastructure.
I would note that there's no bike lane on Trail.
No.
Although, there was, I think there's one bicycle mark in a spot that's about, if at best, 3 feet wide. So it's not an official bike lane, whenever, it's a very old bicycle sign.
Yeah.
And the other is that there's a big stretch there on Trail where the property owner has let his shrubbery
You talking about Harmony?
on No, on trail.
But on that corner?
Well, between Blockhaven and, have let their, I think it's on that
Oh, it
side.
might
Maybe
be.
it's on the other side. But the people will let their shrubs grow into the street until they're told not to.
Right.
And then, my experience is, once you make a complaint to the,
Code enforcement.
code enforcement, and they get a letter, they go out and cut it back. I mean, it's not a big issue, it's more of a, oh, I forgot to do it. But there's a spot there where to the right side of the white line is around 2 feet, this much.
Yeah.
So you're in the road if you're biking.
Right. Well, even where there is the sidewalk now, as trail does that curve as you're heading towards Lock Haven, the bike lane is, which really isn't a bike lane, is
not a
maybe,
bike lane.
it's a foot wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hirsch, did you?
Well, it just, another thing about bike lanes, Lock Haven right at the top of the hill, there's a sale going on and the guy puts his big white sandwich board right in the bike lane. It was done today. I was hoping Officer Powell was here. And it's a routine thing. David knows what I'm talking about because it's right across from his house or close to it. That guy has his big sale and he completely blocks off the bike lane for his sale.
Well, we can complain about that all day.
Yeah, I know.
The Pepsi-Cola parks on Wheatland Road takes the whole bike lane with their truck, because they unload right there at Wheatland and River Road, the little convenience store. They park in the street, so there's no bike lane a lot of times up in there.
Right. Well, but this is kind of connected to what I was asking for before about the paint, but also, Public Works goes to the city and asks for money for projects. How much does Public Works, and can Public Works, like especially once we've got this data from Officer Powell, can Public Works take that data and say, this is a hot spot, this is where we want to do some traffic calming or safety improvement? It's we're the advocate for it, and go to the city council or budget, and because
All of the above.
because that's what I would like to see, because as much as we are important as a committee to hear the public's concerns, I think Public Works,
They work on
KPD,
data.
well, they have the data, they know the problem sites, because they see it, the data, and we hear the anecdotes. Not to discount anecdotes, I'm just saying we don't have the data to then bring to council.
We'll have
Right.
specific injury accidents, other issues, near misses,
Right.
those kind of information, which Public Works per se wouldn't have, but that can be shared.
Right, and so that's where I'd like to see our departments working, they can come back to us and say, hey, this is where we're gonna ask for money this year. What do you think? Do you see any suggestions we could throw into this plan? That way, it doesn't always have to be the public asking for it. It could be the city proactively dealing with issues. So that's all I have for tonight.
That's all you have to say. Huh?
That's all I got.
So about 2 months ago, a group from Northwest Kaiser came for the speeding on Membran, and Officer Powell sat with them and watched traffic. And this week, they took a group to city council and were able to procure a speed sign. So yay, good job. Good job,
Secure a what?
community.
Speed sign.
Just a 25-mile-an-hour speed sign.
Oh, a speed sign.
Yeah, sorry, I might have mumbled that. I was just really
Well, I thought
excited
you
about it.
said bump for a minute.
No, just a speed sign, so,
Yay, we
that
finally
was
did
great.
something right.
Yay. So I do go to my neighborhood, association meetings, and for those of you, we had the mayor from Detroit, who was a part of that whole burning in Detroit, come and discuss it from his perspective as, a participant and as the mayor, and that was quite fascinating. Afterwards, we had, our neighbors discuss issues, and one of the neighbors brought up an issue that I know is ongoing in Portland and is probably happening here, but I don't know what the solution is, and that's that they were spinning cookies in intersections, and you see the marks all over Kaiser. And he's like, that's just an accident waiting to happen. I don't have any idea. I just wanted to share that there is a problem.
That is our neighborhood. They do it at the end of Lock Haven on Windsor Island, and it's a
nice
regular.
Big intersection.
And it's been reported to the police, and
Gotta catch them
yeah.
in
they-
the act.
Yeah, because the timing is always late at night when the staffing is lower. There's a perception that some of it is street racing from Portland coming down, not just locals, so,
There's plenty of locals though.
you know. It's something we need to keep watching and reporting.
Speaking of reporting, I've noticed that cars are using that street past McNary entrance off of Lock Haven to do the U-turn. So I know we've talked about that before.
Newburgh?
Is that Newburgh?
Yeah. My neighborhood association's been working with the police on that.
Dave?
I really have nothing to add, although I do, one thing that is difficult is we've talked a lot about infrastructure, but clearly in this fatality on trail, there was some driver misbehavior in terms of leaving the scene, if nothing else. And in that same vicinity, it's probably been a couple years, but there was a really tragic accident of an extremely drunk driver that ended up killing somebody in a house. Basically, cars are lethal weapons, and the driver behavior and driver responsibility is probably the most important piece. So we speak a lot about the infrastructure, but somehow our driving culture is something that within the community we also need to be working on. This summer I had the opportunity to drive in Scotland, and one of the things I noticed was that the statistics for countries like ours is much worse in the United States in terms of pedestrian and bicycle fatalities. And I think it's 3 times higher than other countries. The infrastructure in Scotland and those places is much worse. It is terrible. And yet I think it's the driving culture and the drivers that make the difference. So.
Before too, I think as cars get
Yes.
not just more electronics in a car that's distracting, but you just feel more isolated, so you don't realize the speed you're going. I think we all need to maybe drive like 1973 Chevy Novas or something that are belching and can't go over 40 miles an hour.
I don't really have anything to add on this situation. Yeah, I don't have anything.
I would ask, not a task for you, but, as you're talking to your friends at school, any issues you hear them, bring it to us, please.
Okay. Staff report.
No?
Oh, what?
Does staff report come before the city
Actually,
council?
no, the city council is not on our list.
I am.
Well,
I'm
put her
I'm
on
number
it.
10. So
You're
you
on
got,
10?
yep,
Oh,
so you got
Oh, there we go.
staff and then police liaison and then me.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Chair DeBosse. We completed stormwater outfall inspections and everything looked good. And right now, our stormwater crew is currently cleaning identified catch basins that we found during our inspection program in preparation for the rainy season. So we go through and we inspect all the catch basins throughout the city, and that gives us a number of which ones we need to clean, and then the guys go back and clean those out. Just saves, make sure everything's clean and things are flowing good for the rain, so drivers can be safe while they're driving around.
Are there
We've recently started tracking them. I don't have that data, but yes, there is. Someone, our GIS tech has put something together that does show, but I don't have that right now.
Well, it's like,
But it kind of comes and goes too, so.
there's areas with a lot of trees get clogged up pretty quick. I mean, everything's worked great, I thought. They were maybe some of the cleanest I've seen, but just about.
Thank you.
Oh, I was gonna ask Mike a question though. Mike, when we do, say, storm drains, how long do they last before we need to replace them?
So the catch basin.
Is there a life expectancy for,
Certain types of pipe, yes, there is. I mean, we have concrete pipe that we find failing here and there, and we have a replacement program through our capital improvement fund, and we find those through our TV work. We contract out TV work where they
Yeah.
go through into TVR lines, and then their problems arise from that, and then we kind of prioritize from that. So I keep a running list of which one's going, which one got moved down, and which one moved up.
are we new enough that we don't have a lot of galvanized water pipes?
So you just switch from stormwater to water,
Well, I want to
but
keep
there
you
are
on
still a
your toes.
handful of galvanized pipe
So that has
from
to
the
be
private, from the water meter back to the homes.
Yeah,
Yes,
well, that's
in
the
the south.
homeowner's problem,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, and ours is, our services are copper to the
Okay,
water
all
meter.
right. So don't have to replace those as often. Okay.
No.
One more little thing. If we put in, say, 300 houses up off Brook Lake Road expanded the urban growth boundary, would we ever have to do anything to the water lines, sewer lines, or storm drains to attach them to it? Would any of those have to be replaced so that they're bigger, can handle more people and stuff?
No, just add on to what we have and move it to the north, and I can't speak a lot on that. I don't know if our reservoirs could take it. I don't know if we are able to. I don't see why not, but I haven't seen
Okay.
plans for that or I'm not
Other
really
cities
involved in
have
that.
that problem, but, okay, good.
So I'm not, but
No,
I'm not sure.
I always believed that the new developments should pay their way. When the back end of the old stuff has to be replaced because it's not big enough anymore, so.
Okay, Officer Powell's not with us tonight. Does he have a report or anything to share? Yeah. All right. Now.
Officer Powell was working very late last night on the accident investigation, so just to give him, so two things. Your talk, Chair de Blasi, about the sidewalk issue. I would invite everyone from this committee to come to our October work session where we're talking about sidewalk gap and repair project. So, and then I'd also just like to call your attention to our short and our long-term goals back here that we've been working on. In the long-term goals, we do have the sidewalk gap program, and how to address that is one of the long-term goals for the council. So I hear what is being commented on, and I just want to remind people that we did recognize that as an issue for the council, and we are actively having conversations and working on that. I think this is the second work session that we've had on the sidewalk gap and repair project or program or issue. So it would be helpful, I think, for this committee to attend, to be looking at the topics of the work sessions and see how they might have an intersect with the work of this committee. And I encourage you to attend those as they come up.
What night is that one?
That one will be next Monday. So whatever Monday.
15th, 22nd?
Oh, wait, no, I'm talking about October. I'm sorry. I was
Oh,
like,
I
we
missed-
just finished, we just did our third, so we had a work session on the 8th, and our city council meeting was the 15th, so our next one will be October 13th. will be our work session on that. So, sorry. They start at 6 as well. Exactly. And then the other item that I wanted, we should be having a long-range planning task force meeting coming up. I think it's in November.
November 10th.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. So that's a new thing that the council did, is adding, we used to only meet in March as a long-range planning task force, and now we're meeting twice a year to do a check-in and see where we're at on our long-range plan and how we're doing. So again, that's another opportunity to come and make public comment on behalf of the committee, to ask that the council take that into consideration when they're developing and having those conversations with the long-range planning task force, which ties directly into the budget that is produced in the budget committee. So I think that's important for this committee to be aware of and participate in. November 10th, Ms. Wilson? Okay, perfect, thank you. And then I did bring up our long range and short-term, or our long-term goals and our short-term goals. On the short-term goals, we also have traffic congestion, so traffic issues. So just a reminder that we are talking about them and we are working on them. There's not a magic answer or solution. So we do keep it going, keep that conversation going though, so.
Okay, thank you. Well, so I'm be reporting to council on the 6th of October.
It needs a big light here, so it reminds me. So I am the member reporting to council on October 6th. I'll be coming back from a family thing, the day before. Would anyone mind switching with me?
I just did it last month.
Yeah.
Who's November?
With, who's November?
I don't know, the list is on my desk, sorry.
That's all right. Well, I guess we can find out
If I
who's,
get
If I was
extra,
in town, I'd do it.
Yeah.
if I get extra points, I'll do it.
extra points on your license.
Okay.
You could also report on October 20th instead of the 6th.
Let me check if I'm.
Do what?
He could report on October 20th instead of the 6th.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
So I don't get points. No points for you.
No points for anybody. Okay.
One thing, Mr. Chairman, where do you want our lists of green paint streets submitted? To you?
No, they're gonna go to Dawn.
Go to Dawn. Okay, that's
Yeah.
all. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so our next meeting is October 16th. Before I adjourn, we have this. So we have our December 26th meeting, which would probably be, did I say December or November? December. That,
26th?
you're right.
2026,
Right.
year 2026, we're putting the schedule together. So the meeting for December of this year is canceled. In the last couple of years, y'all have canceled your December meeting because of the holidays. So for December of 2026, do you want me to cancel that meeting?
Yes. Oh, she's playing ahead.
Are you asking for like a year ahead?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Just if everyone's in agreement, that's all I need.
Oh,
Sure.
sure. I mean, it's typically the week before Christmas.
Yep.
So,
You guys are all on my Christmas list, so I know where to write.
so we know where we're getting Nicole from, huh? Yeah, we might as well, do that.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah. You're so far ahead of me, I didn't even realize
Me
it
too.
wasn't a typo.
Thank you.
Okay, well, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.